bring our next guest in here, Joel Valenzuela from Manchester.
Hi, how's it going?
But formerly of elsewhere. When did you move to New Hampshire?
When I moved in September of last year.
So you're relatively new to this whole thing, not quite here for a year. Is this your first Porcfest, or did you attend last year?
This absolutely is my first Porcfest.
Oh, wow.
I came out from Arizona in September, having never been to the above Washington, D.C. on the East Coast. I just packed all my earthly belongings.
You must have frozen to death during the winter then.
No, I loved it.
Yeah.
I hated 120-degree
Really?
weather so much. It was great. There's pictures of me out playing in the snow all winter long.
It's certainly a contrast between somewhere like Florida, where I'm from, or Arizona, where it gets even hotter than Florida. So you came up here, you got involved in the Free State Project, but your past actually took you through the White House? And did I hear that you worked for the government sometime? Or what's the story there?
Yes, I did, but I did not receive a single red cent from them.
Really? What happened with that? I don't know anything about it.
All right, so back in 2008, I did an internship for the White House under George W. Bush in the Office of Public Liaison. I was sort of a public relations goon for the White House.
Goon.
Yeah, they didn't want to say that, right?
What brought you there? I mean, were you a neocon at that time in life?
Well, I was always sort of, to a certain extent, what I am now. I always sort of believed in the government was evil, and getting away with the smallest amount we can. And that was more of a professional opportunity presented to me that I just couldn't say, an offer I couldn't refuse, right? I get to go there and get inside the beast and see what it's really all about.
It's just a short list of people who can say, yeah, I've worked at the White House.
Exactly, and I wanted to be on that short list just so, and exactly what happened, I found out exactly why liberty is so important. It's not, there's all these bad people in office, or these are not all these bad people working in government. It's that the government itself is what's bad. I met a lot of really passionate, committed, selfless, hardworking, good people that go into the White House and sacrifice a lot of their lives for not very much pay, or they burn out really quick, all because they believe in something greater than them. But they're throwing it at the state, at the altar of the state, and that just highlights really what we're fighting against.
I'm not a very big believer in large organizations, period. Like,
Exactly.
I love the saying that none of us are as dumb as all of us. And
Exactly.
really, when you get all these folks into this large organization, it doesn't matter how many geniuses you throw into a monopolistic, top-down, large behemoth organization like the state. At some point, I mean, it's inefficient. It's just not going to work out.
Yeah, exactly. And the White House itself, the executive office, is not a very large part of everything. It's just sort of it deals with the highest level and relations between nations, et cetera, et cetera. And it's the whole rest of the beam that's really doing most of the bad. But it's also the impossible job. People want the President of the United States to do everything for them. They want him to be their God.
Oh, sure.
And so, no
He's
matter
supposed to be a 4-year king or something, right?
Sort of, in people's minds, and that's not the position, that's what people want. People want someone, Big Daddy government, to come in and solve all their problems. They want them to look good, they want them to have good hair, they want everything out.
They also promised to solve all their problems as well during the campaign.
How else do they get elected?
You can't blame them you can't blame people for taking the bait and sort of believing that somehow this one man or woman is going to make things better. So you learned a lot about the state and why it's terrible through your experience in that. You ended up here in New Hampshire. We can talk about what you were speaking about today, which is actually self-education, but I like your personal story as well. Why move to New Hampshire? Where did you find out about this?
Well, after I went into sort of a self-imposed exile from DC, I'd been in the public policy think tank world for almost 10 years, and I was just ready for a little break. So I did that, and then when I was sort of ready to restart my life, I started looking through all the Atlas Economic Research Foundation. They have this whole list of all the think tanks around the planet that are pro-liberty. And I just started going down them one after another to see which one I wanted to end up in. And so Peru fell out for me, and then I came across New Hampshire, and I'm like, oh, Free State Project. And so I was initially wanting to go work in a think tank in New Hampshire. There aren't really anything.
Thank goodness we don't have any of those crappy things.
Exactly. Well, here's the thing. So I started paying attention to the Free State Project. I thought it was interesting. And so I started following everything, and then it was when Cynthia Chase called out Free Staters' #1 enemy I just thought, that was my Rich Paul moment, when Rich Paul saw the open carrying during the Real ID protest and said, I have to be there. Cynthia Chase was when I thought, I have to be here.
When she says Free Staters are the single greatest threat to the state.
Exactly. When that happened, I knew this is the front line, I had to be there. And way back when I left the Leadership Institute in D.C., I promised Morton Blackwell, the president, I said, wherever the front lines of liberty are, that's where you'll find me.
And you are on the front lines. You are out there with video and recording devices, and you're documenting a lot of the activism that's happening in Manchester. There was recently a DUI checkpoint that you and Robert Mathias were at, and you posted that stuff online.
They tried to arrest me too.
At the DUI checkpoint?
For walking into the street to hand out a pamphlet.
Is there video?
There is absolutely video. Man's Raw YouTube channel.
All right, so with the Raw channels, look, I love the Raw channels. We've got Freeman TV Raw, now Derek J has a Raw channel, now Manchester has a Raw channel.
Exactly.
The problem with the Raw channel is there's too much content there and no one can actually go and consume it. So when you've got a Raw video that's worth highlighting, put a blog post out about that Raw video, even if it's rough around the edges, even if it's just a raw clip. Like, this is what happened, I haven't had time to edit it yet, boom, here it is, and then you can see the rest of it, and here's the link to the Raw channel, and then maybe somebody will subscribe to it.
Well, as soon as I get back, I'm making an actual video that's just about, again, the metaphorical money shot, because most of that clip is a big brawl between Rob Mathias and a narco-communist, just yelling, shouting match. And then the cop shows up and the whole game changes.
So, alternative self-education, that was your talk this afternoon. What do you mean by that?
Basically, the original title is School is Obsolete. And I'm trying to encourage people to drop out, get out of school, and start their education.
So,
I mean, really, if we're talking to a 9th grader, I mean, is your advice, screw school, go do something else?
How old is 9th grade?
14, 15, I believe.
Well, my advice was, don't drop out unless you have a plan. And I talked a little bit about how to do that plan and how to have, how to support yourself, how to find your passion if you don't have any. There's a lot of questions on that.
Is this what you did? Did you drop out?
No, I was homeschooled all the
Lucky
way
you.
up until college, including the first half of college, and then
How do you homeschool for college?
I did a distance program for a university. Did 1 year on campus, and the other 2-3 years where I was just out doing interesting things and submitting them back to the university for credit, like going off to Romania for a summit on the influences of Islam in Eastern Europe and things like that. And then just, hey, here's my foreign policy credit right there.
Interesting. And the university just give it to you rather than taking a course?
Yes. Now, George Wythe University out of Salt Lake now, they were out of Cedar City, Utah before. They are still unaccredited. And so as an unaccredited university, somehow I got every major DC think tank I wanted to, and of course the executive branch of the government, with an unaccredited degree. So
anything's possible.
Exactly. It's not...
I'm telling you, Free Talk Live has to give away degrees. You just need to set up. Here you go.
They'll be just as worthless as the rest.
Here's a PhD. It's piled higher and deeper. Go on.
Go.
So you're also one of the hosts of the Rebel Love Show.
Everybody in the audience is now a PhD. I said so.
I always wanted to be Dr. B.
So you're here all week, right, for Porcfest all the way through Sunday. It's not too late for folks to come out and join us all here on this beautiful occasion with so many. The weather's been great so far. Cross our fingers that it continues to be great. It's usually a good time to be here. Congrats on your first Porcfest, Joel.
Well, exactly. Yeah. I was not gonna be one of those people that dip my toe in the water and be like, I don't know if I want to move here. I just knew I had to go. I came.
That's how it was for me. But I don't blame people who want to experiment. They want to check it out. I mean, it can seem unreal to people what's happening here, and I think Porcfest makes it real.
Guess what? It's all real.
It's happening, yeah. Come join us, porcfest.com. Join Joel at rebelloveshow.com.
Exactly, and I write for the desertlakes.com.
Awesome, and freeking.com. One of the there as well. We'll continue tomorrow night here live from Porcfest 2014. It's Free Talk Live.